And here we go.
Yes,
Monday,
sir.
November 22nd. Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Mr. Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, man. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you guys. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Great weekend in sports. You saw Terrence Crawford beat up on Sean Porter.
You were all over that.
I was,
all
man. I'm
over
a boxing
that.
fan, boxing aficionado. I think Terrence Crawford is pound for pound number 2 in the world behind Canelo. Great fight by Sean Porter. Just couldn't get it done. There was also almost another fight that happened.
No kidding.
And it's funny, we talked about on Friday, this being the 17th anniversary of Malice in the Palace. Well, you almost had a Malice in the Palace Part 2, but it was Malice in the Little Caesars Arena. So.
I mean, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Isaiah Stewart, looked like he lost his mind out there a little bit. But I will tell you this: when you see the slow-mo of the elbow slash punch back from LeBron James, I mean, look, you're a grown man.
Yeah.
Somebody hits you like that, you're not going to say, oh, thank you, may have another. You know what I mean? You're probably going to go after him a little bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, you get hit in the face. I think the face is one of those features of the body where it's sacred. You protect it. Like, you never want to get hit in the face. And whenever you do get hit in the face, if you do, it causes a different type of emotion. It causes a different type of reaction.
Especially when blood is rushing down the side.
And you can feel it.
Yeah.
And so, he felt it, and he felt the blood. He could see the blood. He touched the blood. It probably made him go even more hysterical. LeBron wasn't trying to make him bleed. Wasn't trying to cut him. However, you could tell LeBron was frustrated by how hard, Isaiah Stewart is going. And he's trying to box him out on the free throw.
Yep.
And he waved at him kind of like a get the F out of here.
Right.
And it just so happened to draw blood.
And if there's any kids listening to the program, we certainly do not condone any violence on the court or anywhere else. Turn around and walk away. Just do that. That's my disclaimer.
But it's basketball. We know these guys don't want to fight. Like the NBA, they play basketball for a reason. It's not a physical game. Those guys don't want to fight because if you want to call a spade, right after it happened, Isaiah Stewart was literally right here on LeBron initially and didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden he gets, they break it up, and now he's going ballistic. Now he's trying to get to LeBron. A bunch of Michigan guys. You see with Anthony Davis, you saw him trying to act like he was going to go back in the locker room and fight. Nobody wants any smoke. The only person on that court that wanted some smoke was from Baltimore, Maryland, and that was Carmelo Anthony.
No doubt.
There's
you don't
only
want to
one.
mess with Carmelo. Yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk college football a little bit today and a lot this week. You're wearing the Block M. I just want to quickly point that out at the top of the show. We're going to table the college football, but just an appetizer thought from Braylon Edwards on what you saw in college football this weekend, most notably with Michigan and Michigan State.
Alabama struggled against Arkansas, and they struggled, but they got the win in the end. They struggled on defense more so than anything. You saw Bryce Young on offense, 559 yards passing. I think what you saw in college football, you saw the Heisman Trophy race is now down to 2 people and 2 people only. It's between C.J. Stroud of Ohio State and it's between Bryce Young of Alabama.
Who many people believed that was the 2 at the start of the year, right?
Like legitimately, Brady Quinn came on our show before the football season started. He came on before the season started, and what did he say? He said Bryce Young will win the Heisman Trophy this year,
win too.
And he will win next year. So you saw the Heisman Trophy race kind of get to the finishing point. You saw teams that needed to stand up. They stood up. Michigan, 59 on the board. Ohio State, they blew the doors off of Michigan State, 49 to zip at halftime. You saw Georgia. They were playing some bums, but Georgia, another 59-point team. You saw Notre Dame. Notre Dame scored 55 against Georgia Tech. So you
playing
saw
their best football
and
right
even
now.
Cincinnati. Cincinnati made a bit of a statement game against SMU. They won by 25. We've talked about them struggling with some teams that didn't really matter. Well, they won by 25, 30 points. So you saw people separating themselves from the pack, individually and team-wise.
Can I say this quickly about the Heisman Trophy race?
It's over.
It is over. It is between those 2 quarterbacks. But it's not over for anything Kenneth Walker did, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
6 carries.
You're down 42 to nothing at halftime or whatever the score was. You cannot run your offense. You cannot have any carries at that point. They just totally took him out of the game because of how down quickly they were. But that alone goes to show you what I was trying to say earlier in the year. it's really hard for running backs to win the Heisman Trophy. It just is. The product of the position. That's why there's been 3 running backs to win the award in the last 20 years or since the year 2000.
Right.
And all 3 of them played in the national championship game. 2 won it, 1 lost it. Nothing against Kenneth Walker, but it's just kind of a highlighted fact of how hard it is to win that award when you are a running back.
And not only that, you talk about the guys that won it. You talk about Reggie Bush, he won. You talk about Mark Ingram, he won. And you talk about Derrick Henry, he won. Those guys played on teams that they didn't rely solely on the running game. Yeah. They had other studs, and they were always ahead of the game. They were always ahead of the opposition, and they were able to do whatever they wanted to do. Reggie Bush had Lindell White. He had Mike Williams. He had Kerry Colbert. You had Dwayne Jarrett. Yep. Insert stud here. McDonald was a tight end. You look at Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry played with a bunch of individuals, and so did Mark Henry with Alabama. With Kenneth Walker, and we talked about this early in the year, I asked the question, and this was when Michigan was about to play at Michigan State. I said, you got to force Peyton Thorne to beat you through the air. I said, you got to take it out of Kenneth Walker's hands. We didn't get a chance to do that with Michigan, but Ohio State figured it out.
And here we are. It sets up the week that I think most of us believed we would get. A lot of us believed we would get. A lot of us hoped we would get Michigan, Ohio State for everything that you've ever wanted in your life, right? I mean, Michigan, Ohio State, it's why they call it the game, a trip to Indianapolis. First one would be for Michigan. You can kind of silence the doubters. You can end that terrible loss situation you got going on with Ohio State, and just shut up a lot of people, man. But it's going to be done on the field in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, 100%. This is the first time the game means something since 2016, the infamous spot game. But even outside of that game, this game hasn't meant anything since 2006, the infamous game of the century. So it's great that
for both teams.
Exactly. Obviously, Ohio State is always fighting for playoffs, but this is the first time that Michigan, they're fighting for the Big Ten title, or they're fighting for a chance.
And they don't need any help.
And they don't need any help. It's right in front of them. So you got 10-1 versus 10-1. They're lining up. Everything is on the line. It's the first time it's been this way in a very long time. It's going to be an exciting week, and guess what? It's going to break the record again for Fox.
That's right. And with that, we say good afternoon to you, Tom Mazaway, wearing your Honolulu blue and silver pullover.
Hey, happy 59th anniversary to the Ford family. Yes, 59 years ago. Probably about right now. That Mr. Ford walked out of, I think it was Bank of Detroit, and looked around and said, where did everybody go? As he just signed a contract for $6 million to buy the Detroit Lions. And very sad day in America, obviously, when President Kennedy was assassinated.
Can you believe that? I mean, of all the things that happened that day, William Clay Ford bought the Lions the same day President Kennedy was assassinated.
Was that a sign of things to come?
Right.
Well, you tell me.
So I put that out on Twitter earlier today, and somebody said 2 tragedies in one day.
Exactly.
Just remarkable.
Hey, 2 guys in hiding, by the way. Baker Mayfield did not talk yesterday after the game, and LeBron James did not talk after yesterday's game. So those 2 guys are AWOL. Anyone seen them? Let us know.
I don't think anybody's seen Baker Mayfield since third week of the season.
Yeah.
By the way, don't sign him. Do not sign him to a long-term contract.
Baker Mayfield?
He ain't the guy.
I told you. I have been saying this. He is not the guy.
Sometimes, Braylon, though, it's like you have to come to your own conclusion before you really see it. I mean, clearly, whether he's hurt or not hurt or just as plain bad and not a good quarterback. I mean, the way that the Detroit Lions were able to turn him over yesterday and just kind of even be in that game with a quarterback that should not be in the NFL. I mean, Tim Boyle should not be in the NFL.
He didn't. What did he practice? 2 days this week?
I understand that, but one of the things, we're going to talk Lions. Start of the show.
He did throw for 77 yards.
We got some things to say about the Detroit Lions today. I will tell you this: go back to the preseason before Tim Boyle's injury.
I bet the Lions wish they could.
And how many people, show a raise of hand, thought that David Blau beat out Tim Boyle before the injury? Show of hands.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
And so I'm curious.
Because he had experience already from the year prior.
Where?
David Blau had experience playing games for the Lions.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant Tim Boyle.
No, that's why I gave him the edge over Tim Boyle.
There are so many question marks with the Detroit Lions. This is not horseshoes. you don't get credit because you're close to a win. Yeah. You know, my wife yesterday said, "What happened to the Lions game?" And I'm tongue in cheek. I'm like, "Well, they almost won."
Right.
And she's like, "So they lost?" And I said, "Yes, they lost." You know, it's kind of one of those things. Well, just because they almost tied it up, doesn't mean anything. This is the NFL. You're 0-9-1, and I don't know if I buy the fact that this roster isn't as good as we think they are. This is yet another opponent they held below 20 points.
I give it up to the defense.
Let me count that up for you now. That is now 1, 2, 3 opponents you hold under. 4 opponents. 4.
Yes, it should be 4.
4 opponents you hold under 20 points. You got to win that football game.
Yeah, they weren't getting anything out of the offense. Tim Boyle, they weren't. Obviously, DeAndre Swift, we talked about him early in the game, and he and Chubb didn't disappoint. It was a great battle of the former Georgia running backs. It was 130, and the other had 136 in the touchdown. So DeAndre Swift came to play for the Detroit Lions. Outside of that, they couldn't put the ball in the end zone. Like, you couldn't make plays. You couldn't get in the end zone. You couldn't extend drive. They just looked like they were struggling, like, internally. Like, it just looked like they were struggling within themselves. Like, you see the unsportsmanlike conduct right before the commercial break. They just seemed to be imploding offensively and defensively at times. Defensively played better than the offense, though.
You will hear from Dan Campbell coming up on a myriad of different things. You're going to hear him talk about Tim Boyle and about a couple of decisions that he made are mind-boggling, and I think you have to ask yourself some questions now regarding the head coach. Is this the right guy? Look, I don't know how long you get the free pass.
Yeah.
How many games you can continually be questioned for, every single decision that you make that's in a big spot. Every single big decision that you make, you're not capitalizing on that, and you can go back to the way they defended the 3rd and 19 or the 4th and 19 play against the Baltimore Ravens. Go back to that game.
Did the same thing with the Vikings, like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and start questioning a lot of those decisions. I do want to let you know, guys, that you can win 2 front row seats to the Detroit Lions Thanksgiving Day game. You can compete in our turkey games. We're giving you the chance to sit front row at Thanksgiving. All you have to do is survive our turkey games. Listen every day to the Morning Woodward Show at 9 a.m. Big D Energy at noon, and the bottom line, that's us, at 3 o'clock for your chance to qualify. You get 2 tickets, front row, Thanksgiving Day game, and a turkey. So if you think you can master our Turkey Games Challenge, watch and listen. Today's word of the day, Braylon, by the way, is going to be...
Oh, it's on me?
Yeah.
Defeated.
When we say defeated in the 3 o'clock hour, be the first to write it on the YouTube chat, and you'll be today's qualifier. It is the final day to qualify for the turkey games.
Oh, man.
And then tomorrow, we're going to get you a winner.
We're going to pick somebody tomorrow?
We will know tomorrow, absolutely. All right, guys, continuing on with the Detroit Lions talk. Dan Campbell, you'll hear from him and you'll hear from us regarding Dan Campbell. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
He was efficient. He was, he was a little rusty, a couple of those throws. He and Swift were on the same page on the first interception, and that's not all him. That's on both of them. The long pick that he had, that was a hell of a throw. Now, you'd like to just pull it inside just a little bit, but, I mean, he pulled the trigger on it, and he gave us a chance. And it's either got to be our ball or nobody's, but you got to throw some of those. So, and look, I wanted to be smart, too. I didn't want to throw this kid to the wolves. I mean, that's not fair to him either. So I thought for what we asked him to do, he was solid, and a couple of those interceptions are, there again, one of them, it's like, well, that's the price to do business, and you hope it's not the price because, like I said, it's yours or nobody's. And then the first one is just, that's a You going in? You going out? What are you doing? Don't throw it. And so, but no, I'm not disappointed in the kid. I'm not disappointed in him.
I wouldn't be disappointed per se either, and that's Dan Campbell talking about Tim Boyle. I wouldn't be disappointed in him either because that might be one of the best he's got.
Yeah.
Look, in college, this guy wasn't very good. I mean, if you literally go back to some of his college numbers, he's not very good.
He made the Packers. He backed up Aaron Rodgers.
That just doesn't mean anything. They don't get 100% of their decisions right.
Just telling you, the guy's been around in the NFL, so teams did like him. He must show something. He has nothing to work with except the running game.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with that excuse, actually.
Yeah, I am too.
Actually.
I am too. Want to give him an excuse.
Yeah, going back to something you said, man, like, just because you last a lot of times in the NFL, it doesn't mean you're good. Like what happens a lot of times, especially at the quarterback position, especially special teams position, people like you. You're a good guy. You show up to time. You show up to work on time. Like you're great at breaking down film. You're great at helping the other quarterbacks. You're great at doing certain things. Quarterbacks can take a shine. Like some coaches can take a shine to you and say, you know what? I like this guy. I'm gonna keep this guy around because I may have a spot for him on my coaching staff at some time in the future. He's cheap. I've seen a lot of guys be on teams, and I'm like, how the hell is this guy on the team? Like, you just don't understand. But they get buddy-buddy with a coach. They get buddy-buddy with front office and things like that. They're good guys. They stay around. And you see these same guys a couple years later on the coaching staff. They end up becoming head coaches. But to your point, and to what Dan Campbell said, he did what they asked him to do. I actually don't have a problem with the two interceptions. I don't have a problem with. One, he went for it. On the deep ball, he went for it. He gave it a chance. We don't see Jared Goff do that. Like, he threw the ball out there. He was trying to make something happen. Hey, you know what? He threw a 50-50 ball. Should threw it a little outside, like Dan Campbell said. He threw a little inside. And with the other one, you got the running back making the decisions. Like, are you going in? Are you going out? Is it man? Is it zone? Are you going to sit down? Little miscommunication there. Outside of that, I mean, like you said, he's not that good of a quarterback, so he did not that good of a quarterback type things.
One of the things that I think, obviously comes into question is the draw play on 3rd and 14. That's right. The highlight, I think, of this game. That decision right there. So either you have a quarterback that is incapable of throwing the football and not turning it over in that situation, or you have no belief in the fact that quarterback can throw the football. Neither of them are good options or good choices. So I just don't even know what to make of these guys anymore. I mean, there's about 4 games in there that they could have won.
Right.
Could have won. The Browns game yesterday, the Vikings game,
Baltimore,
the Ravens game. Well, okay, so 3 games.
The Bears
and the Steelers. No, the Steelers
and the Bears
and the Bears. Three trips inside the red zone.
Yeah. They had a chance in L.A.
You came away with 0 points.
They had a chance in L.A.
You came away with 0 points. This roster, I don't believe, is as bad as we all want to make excuses for.
Right.
Just so.
Right.
Why do we? Because we like Dan Campbell. Is that?
I'm afraid you might be right on part of that.
I mean, just because we like the guy, he comes in and he talks it. Look, I love Dan Campbell. I love the guy. He's a great motivational speaker. But I do think you need your head coach to kind of help you out a little bit, win some of these games if you have a deficient roster talent-wise. And he is not doing that. Yeah. He's not helping these guys win football games.
He kept them in the games. His play calling has kept them in the last 2 games against better teams, superior teams. So his play calls have been pretty good. 25% of them have sucked, I think.
Is it his play calling or is it Aaron Glenn's defense that's kept him in?
Well, Aaron Glenn's defense is playing way over their heads.
Exactly. That's what's keeping them in the game. And to your point, I don't think we're making too many excuses for when we say, you know what, this team is undermanned, they're understaffed, they're deficient. Because, whenever we would play games and we would look at the schedule and you have guys out, and let's say I play wide receiver, so I'm looking at the schedule, I'm looking at the depth chart, and I see starting cornerback out, and I'm looking at I have to go against the 3rd guy on the team, the 4th guy. I'm laughing. I'm licking my chops. I'm like, this is going to be a great day. That's how every team looks at the Detroit Lions' whole staff. I mean, whole team, whole squad. That's how they look at them. When players are looking at you like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a field day. We're gonna turn up. Everybody's thinking they're gonna have the type of day that Nick Chubb had, or the type of day that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow had when they look at the Detroit Lions. I've been there. You see guys that you know aren't good, or you see guys that you know can't match up against you. That's your mindset, and the fact that that's the mindset lets you know that these guys are understaffed.
Josh Reynolds didn't help himself yesterday.
No,
did not help his team yesterday. Trinity Benson did not dress again. So you got all of that. Tom Kennedy even dressed for crying out loud.
I'm going to give Josh Reynolds the benefit of the doubt because he does have a track record of being a legitimate wide receiver in this league. And we have seen with so many other guys, whether it's Odell Beckham in L.A., whether even a guy who's had a long training camp. Look at Julio Jones in Tennessee. First games with new teams have not been very good this year. So we'll see if Josh Reynolds gets a little better, but
with the exception of Zach Ertz,
right? with the tight end a little bit different, maybe. But we'll see if he gets any better. To your point, he's not playing with a talented quarterback out there, and I don't understand the decision. David Blau must really be bad, and I don't know how else to say it because if you're going to start a guy who comes off IR instead of the guy that's been working the reps all season long as Jared Goff's backup, probably understands the offense a little bit better. What's he doing here if he's not going to be playing?
There has to be something else going wrong because I actually watched, this past summer training camp, the Olympics were going on, and David Blau's wife is an Olympic hurdler.
Yes.
She runs the 400 hurdles, and they made a big deal about it, and the Lions talked about that, and they talked about it, and you saw the love that he was getting, the attention. They talked about him in training camp. He talked about him being the backup. You and I sat here and talked about it. I told you I remember him at Purdue because he went back and forth with Elijah Sindelar a couple years back, and I actually liked him. He made some plays, he made some throws. We thought he was going to be the guy. Something must have happened. Something has happened throughout the season. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a nick. Maybe it's an injury. Maybe it's a little something that he's nursing all season because he was the guy. And all of a sudden you put Tim Boyle in. When he comes back, you put him in, and then you see how he plays. So something has to be going on with David Blau.
Did you notice that all 6 teams that are playing on Thanksgiving Day lost?
Oh, it's terrible.
The Bears, the Lions, the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Bills, and the Saints. All 6 of them lost yesterday. I bet you if you go back, that has never happened.
And if you go back and look, too, the Lions will probably be without Jared Goff again.
And the Bears without
Chicago
Fields.
Bears will be without Justin Fields.
It's going to be a turkey day.
We'll talk a little NFL later today. If you look at the Dallas Cowboys, Amari Cooper's going to be out with COVID.
They're
and then,
a much different team without him.
And then CeeDee Lamb went out yesterday with concussion, so he's probably not going to be back.
Look for Michael Gallup if you want to pick up anyone on fantasy.
Yeah, if you...
They tried to get him yesterday. Dak tried to get Michael Gallup involved yesterday. They were out of sync and out of rhythm.
They stunk yesterday.
They stunk. They were out of sync. They were out of rhythm. You can tell that. I thought that they would be good without Amari Cooper. I thought that they had power.
They would have been fine, but I think with CeeDee Lamb out, everything went out the
door.
They
were ugly before CeeDee Lamb left. They were ugly before he left the game. They couldn't get it done.
The Chiefs threw everything at him, man. It worked for the Chiefs yesterday.
Chiefs were good either.
If that defense shows up?
Both defenses showed up.
Holy crap.
Both defenses
How's Micah
good.
Parsons doing, by the way?
Oh, man.
You love Micah Parsons.
He's a stud.
Yeah, he balled.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he balled.
He is. Hey, guys, I want to ask you about the 4th and 1 call as well, the decision to kick there. You'll hear from Dan Campbell momentarily. We're going to stick with the Lions here. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey, gang, it's Baz from MyBookie.ag, MyBookie.com as well, our studio sponsors, and where I put my bets in as well. So yesterday, Braylon and I gave it to you. We said, take the Colts even. So I went and did that, and I hit the money line at plus 280 on the Colts against the Bills. Monday Night Football tonight. You got to get involved. And if you're a first-timer on this, you got to go to the promo code and use it. It's called Woodward. That's all. Woodward. That's your promo code, because mybookie.ag will double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Tonight, you got the Buccaneers. They get back Gronk. That's right. The Giants get back Saquon Barkley. Should be a pretty entertaining game from Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, of course, coming off the bye. You know what he's going to do. So the spread, 10.5, maybe 11. Depends what you're going to get, what time of the day you're going to get it. Don't forget, if you're going to do it, mybookie.ag, use that promo code Woodward. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. By the way, Ohio State, an 8-point favorite this weekend against Michigan. If you have a problem gambling, make sure you call the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Yeah, I thought about it, but I told myself the night before, I said, be smart. Hang in there. If we play this game the right way like last week, we're going to have an opportunity to get it back and, play smart. Don't put ourselves in a bind. So I was close, but then I chose to kick the field goal. Felt good about our defense.
And that's Dan Campbell talking about the decision to kick it there on a 4th-and-1 situation instead of going for it. You heard him say we feel good about the defense, and obviously, you make it a little closer, but at some point, is that the time to be conservative? Is that the time when you're 0-8-1, you're on the road against a playoff team a year ago? Is that the time to be conservative and to play that thing out like a normal football team would, I guess, if you're matching talent for talent? Yeah. You believe you're inferior to the team that you're playing, and you can do stuff like that. And again, we get second guess because it was the wrong. Right. It was the wrong call again,
and it didn't work. I think Dan Campbell's in one of those situations where, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Damned if I do, damned if I doesn't. Because all year, he's tried to make the right call. He's tried to be aggressive and go for it on 4th down, and it didn't work out for him. Then he's tried to not be aggressive. He's tried to be smart, and it hasn't worked out for him. This season hasn't worked out for him. So I think he's trying to figure it out as best he can, and he's struggling. He's struggling. He's probably outthinking himself. He's probably overthinking things. He's probably thinking like, what are the pundits going to say? What are the media going to say? What should I do in this situation? And he's outthinking himself. It sucks that it has to be that way, but definitely he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
You hit the nail on the head, Braylon. Just by you telling me that, I even feel worse for him now than I did before. I mean, really. But on that play, 4th-and-1, they gave you the ball down there on that tipped interception. Alex Anzalone did a good job. Parker picked it off his first. It was great. You're not going to get down there again. The offense is not doing it. Yeah, he said, I believe in my defense. We get it. Yeah. But the defense, they can't pick off another ball or get another fumble. You're down there. You had to go for it then. You had to give the ball to DeAndre Swift. Even if you don't make it, you keep them down there in their own side of the field. It sucked.
Ermanni Orarie.
There you go.
I almost hesitate to not play this for you, but he said it, so you play it. I'm tired of giving him credit for fighting. We expect him to fight, right? Fight. Fight, dude. We shouldn't give these guys credit for fighting to the end again and being close. Here's Orarie.
Man, it's crazy. You would think that we'd be down and out, but we're not. You got a lot of guys in there who are still believing, fighting their tails off, and we know we're going to be on the other side of this at some point. We just got to keep doing what we're doing, man. That's.
Yeah, of course that, they have a lot of guys that keep fighting. Of course they have guys that are still into it because they got a lot of guys that aren't starters. They got a lot of guys that are starting on this team that wouldn't start anywhere else. A lot of guys on this team won't be starting next year. You heard when we were talking to the Bears play-by-play guy earlier.
Tom Thayer.
What did he say that Mike Ditka said? He said, guess what? Good news is we're going to win a championship. Bad news is most of you won't be here.
Right.
And that's the mentality. So these guys are fighting because they're excited to be starting in the NFL. They're excited to be on the team. They're excited to have a chance and go out there and their name is represented because they're not going to start anywhere else. And a lot of these guys won't be starting next year, so that's why they're fighting. But to your point, you got to win some games. Like you gotta cross that threshold of a win. I am getting tired of fighting too, and it's not just this year. We give the Lions, even in the past, when they play a big time opponent. How often have you heard the Lions play a big time opponent? Let's say the Patriots 10 years ago, and the game be close, and you're like, well, man, they almost beat the Patriots. We've been saying that for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. The Lions almost winning a game, not just this year.
They're gonna win.
When? Where?
This week. It's going to be Thanksgiving Day. It's got to be. You got to be
with that quarterback.
They have that quarterback. Well, they have a better. He's not bad.
He's a former Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I know he is. The Red Rifles going against Tim Boyle. I get it. David Blau.
Oh, he's not TB anymore. He's Tim Boyle.
He's just Tim Boyle.
He's no longer
If I'm not
TB.
mistaken, I think David Blau played last year on Thanksgiving Day.
He may have.
Or at least he got in. At least. I'll tell you, man. The Bears are coming in here. You got to beat the Bears.
If not the Bears, then who?
And then you got to wait to Atlanta. Maybe. But you got to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They can beat Atlanta. I hate to keep beating on this drum, but I'm starting to question the head coach. I really am, and I don't know if it's because I've seen this song and dance before, and I just keep trying to insert. Well, if he's somebody that isn't as like if he was just kind of a blah head coach, and by a blah head coach, I mean
bland, vanilla.
Yes, somebody that wasn't animated, somebody that you didn't like,
Morningweg.
Somebody, not even Morningweg was like a caricature.
He was.
If he was like a Dick Duran,
he would have been getting booed since game one.
If he was like a Matt Nagy. You know what I mean?
Oh, you did a fire Nagy chance yesterday during the game?
You know, if he was just somebody like that who we had no sort of
connectivity.
Oh my God, we're gonna just really bite these kneecaps, and I hate saying that.
Somebody that you didn't have a connection with.
Yes.
Right.
We'd want this guy out of here so fast, and we'd say they should have won minimum 4 games already.
Again, but who cares if they win 4 games?
What do you mean? Who cares if they win 4 games?
Who cares? Because it only hurts them in the draft.
So you want to go?
Would you? No, I don't want to. But who cares? 4 wins or 1 win? Who gives a damn?
Because
you still stunk.
Well, I mean, you'd be 4-5 right now.
You'd
maybe
be 4
even
wins
5-4.
0.
You have a chance to legitimately be 4-5 right now.
Yes,
and
that's a fact.
I think that's how you build a culture. Yeah. All this other stuff that with Aurarie and how impressive of a job would it have been for Dan Campbell? How good would you feel about these Detroit Lions if they had 4 wins right now? Yeah. Oh man, this thing is changing. They are building something.
Yeah. Especially where the NFC is. Everybody's losing.
Everybody's within 1 game. 15 to 16 teams within 1 game of each other. I was just about to
say, you put that stat up there. Everybody is right there. Like 4-5, 3-6 has you close. Right. 3-6 has you close. So to win a couple games, like you said, 4 games. That would do a lot in terms of this type of season and the attitude and the mindset moving forward.
It's a different team if they had won those games against the Vikings and Ravens.
And we always say
it's different.
Mesh, you're a baseball guy. Braylon, you're a baseball guy. What's the saying about a manager in baseball? It's kind of like a good manager will win you 8 to 10 games a year.
Yeah.
Right? Is out of 162. Well, the same could be said for a head coach. I could name you 3 plays right now that are the difference in 3 losses right now for the Detroit Lions. One is
2 4th and 9.
A 4th and 19. The fourth down play in Minnesota, and this 4th and 1 play in Cleveland. Maybe they don't get it. But at least they give themselves an opportunity to score a touchdown on that drive and take the lead. Maybe, just maybe, those 3 plays, 3 are the difference in 3 wins, potentially. Certainly 2. Certainly you get a 4th and 19 stop, that's a win. The 4th down play in Minnesota, you get a stop, that's a win. He made the same mistake in the Vikings game that he did in the Baltimore Ravens game. And then yesterday on 4th and 1, again, keeping the drive alive, giving yourself an opportunity to score a touchdown with a dynamic player in Swift down there near the red zone. Give him the ball, see what he can do with it.
Hawk had a great comeback game.
Exactly. So I think Dan Campbell is having a poor start to his coaching tenure, and I don't think that has to do with talent.
The big question I asked early on in the season was he overwhelmed. That was the question I asked about Dan Campbell. Their first couple losses when they were 0-3, 0-4. You bring out the tears in the press conference that Sunday after the I can't remember what loss it was. I think the Bears game. But I asked, was he overwhelmed? Because he seemed overwhelmed. When you watch him do his press conference, he just seems down and out and dejected.
He's shot.
When you watch his pressers, he's leaning into the laptop, and it's like, well, and it's just not how we are. It just seems like he doesn't really know what's going on. Like, he just seems like, man, the season is getting to him. Being a head coach in the NFL on a bad team is getting to him. He wasn't prepared for this. Like, yes, he knew he wasn't walking into a situation where he was going to coach talent like the Kansas City Chiefs, or he was going to a situation coaching the Dallas Cowboys. He knew what he was walking into, but he assumed that they would play like they did on defense, that they would be able to win some games, that Jared Goff could be a manager for him, could, get the ball down the field, move the chains. DeAndre Swift is going to be this back that they drafted him to be, and that's not the case. And that's not what's going on for him. So I think each week, like, his intensity, like, it dumbs down just a little bit more. So I don't hear anything about pikes and extra shots of espresso anymore. I don't hear anything about knee slapping, like kneecap slapping. You don't hear that emotion anymore. Remember what we talked about early in here? We talked about this team being together. We said we're going to see if they stick together through the adversity, through the bad times. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and Sheila Ford-Hamp. Like, right now, you're not hearing that same rhetoric. It doesn't have that same energy that they had in August.
But they are sticking together. They're playing. They're playing to the end. That's sticking together.
No, I'm talking
about defense.
I'm talking about the front.
Not.
I'm talking about the management. I'm talking about the management and then the coaches as well.
Well, the managers aren't picking up anybody.
The defense, they're doing their thing. The defense is doing their thing. You have nothing to say about the defense.
It's baby steps, man, I guess.
I just kind of go back to this, guys. What would the narrative be regarding the Detroit Lions had they won these 4 games that we believe they should have won?
Right.
The Browns, the Steelers, the Vikings, and the Ravens. If they're sitting there 4-5 right now, I just go back to how good of a feeling you would have about this new regime and everything like that. I want to ask you guys. I want to stay with the Lions. I want to ask you guys to paint me a picture. What do you think we see atmosphere-wise in the Thanksgiving Day game on Thursday? Just kind of a preview. Do you think the stadium's full? Do you think there's paper bags? What will the country see here in Detroit on Thursday? I want to get an early preview from you guys on what you anticipate against the Bears.
Buck and Troy are here.
This is Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Did you know mortgage rates are still at generational lows? If you haven't refinanced your home loan yet, there's still time. Now is your second chance to refinance. You could lower your monthly payment, eliminate credit card debt, or even take cash out by using your home's equity. Call Hall Financial now to get started with your free 5-minute mortgage review. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Start a new career in an industry that is always essential. That's right, I'm talking about the heating and cooling industry. To find out about it, visit northwesterntech.edu. Find out how you can make $77,000 right out the gate. Visit northwesterntech.edu.
Sunday afternoon, the Detroit Lions lost another heartbreaker, dropping to 0-9-1 after failing to defeat the Cleveland Browns, resulting in a 13-10 loss. Yesterday was the first career start for Tim Boyle, under center for the Lions, and here's what Dan Campbell had to say about Boyle's performance.
Yeah, he was solid. I mean, he ran the offense well. We had no communication errors. He was efficient. He was, look, he was a little rusty, a couple of those throws. He and Swift were on the same page on the first interception, and that's not all him. That's on both of them. The long pick that he had, that was a hell of a throw. Now, you'd like to just pull it inside just a little bit, but, I mean, he pulled the trigger on it, and he gave us a chance. And it's either got to be our ball or nobody's, but you got to throw some of those. So, and look, I wanted to be smart, too. I didn't want to throw this kid to the wolves. I mean, that's not fair to him either. So I thought for what we asked him to do, he was solid, and a couple of those interceptions are, there again, one of them, it's like, well, that's the price to do business, and you hope it's not the price because, like I said, it's yours or nobody's. And then the first one is just, you're going in, you're going out, what are you doing? Don't throw it, and so, but no, I'm not disappointed in the kid, I'm not disappointed in him. And he hadn't played since August, and And he just get – and look, he was better in the fourth quarter than he was in the first. So as he got a little bit of a rhythm, he was better.
Now, as we all know, the Detroit Lions are on a short week this week as they take on the Chicago Bears at this place right behind me, Ford Field, for the annual Thanksgiving Day game. Let's see if they're able to go ahead and get that W. This is Corey Woods with your Lions update. Check with you guys next time.
All right, Corey Woods, we certainly appreciate that. And you saw Corey Woods, if you're watching on YouTube, you saw him standing outside of Ford Field. And my question to you guys before the break was, what will we see in downtown Detroit this week? Usually every year kind of sold out, a lot of atmosphere regardless of how bad the Lions are. But they are so bad right now. And the last couple of times we've seen the Lions play at home, stadium's been half empty. I think they're like 50% capacity last time out. Real ugly. What do you think we're going to see, Braylon?
I think you'll see the stadium half empty. I think you'll see downtown we'll have some people down there this Thursday because the parade is back. Because of COVID last year, they didn't have the parade. So the parade is back this year. So you'll have people downtown. There'll be some energy and atmosphere. They just all won't be going to Ford Field, or they won't be going inside. Frankly, if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at a product and I'm like, all right, I'm thinking about buying tickets for Thanksgiving for my son, me and my son, to go see a game. And I watch the Lions, I see the product that they're putting out, whether they're coming close or not. They're not. They're losing. They're 0-9-1. They're a bad team. Now they have a backup quarterback who Coach Campbell says he played efficient. Okay, I'll take your word for it on that one. But he didn't look like a world beater. He's not making first downs. He's not throwing touchdown passes. He's not completing. He had, let's call it a spade, 77 yards passing. Mm-hmm. He had 77 yards passing.
In the NFL.
In the NFL. In 4 quarters of play. He didn't relieve Jared Goff in the second half. He played all 4 quarters. I'm not taking my son to see that. I'm not driving downtown, paying $50 a part. Then I got to pay $300 for tickets, go in, sit, then I got to buy concession stuff for my kid, then leave to get back home for Thanksgiving to eat, to watch real football. I'm not going to that game, and I think a lot of people probably share that sentiment.
How about, Maz, when we would go down week 1, $50 to park.
Yep.
Week 2, $50. Week 3,
$35.
$40. Week 4, $35. Even the price to park is coming down.
Not tomorrow. Well, tomorrow it'll be back up. I'll be going to the game like I always do.
Not tomorrow, but Thursday.
You think so?
I'll be going.
Well, just because it's Thanksgiving.
I'm saying you think it'll be back to regular?
It's not going to be packed, but it's going to be 80% packed. There'll be a lot of Bear fans that come in for this game. The Lion fans, most of them will be there with their kids and their family. That's the kind of atmosphere Thanksgiving is. I don't even realize. This is the honest truth. This will be my 30th game in a row. Mm-hmm. I don't even give a damn about the records. Right. I really don't. I mean, I do as a football fan. But the Thanksgiving Day game to me is always like a special game. It's just a different game. Call it like a high school game, because high schools, a lot of them used to play on Thanksgiving Day back in the day. I'm not sure if they still do. I know they'll be playing Thanksgiving weekend.
We'll be playing. We'll be out there at Ford Field on Friday.
With little Robbie Ermanni and the pilots.
Did Joyke's son win? Did we know?
Oh, you know what? I'm not sure.
We'll find out
tomorrow.
We'll
have to check it.
Text him.
But I'll tell you, man, I'm going to go. I'm going to enjoy the game like I always do. We got our pregame show this time with the tin roof. Right. We're going to go right after that. We do, my family, they do the turkey trot, the parade, and then half of us or a few of us, whoever has tickets, go to the Lions game. Then we go to dinner at Kathy's Uncle Joe's.
Hey, Uncle Joe.
Hey, Uncle Joe and Kathy, thanks for having us.
That's right.
And so I'm looking forward to it. Thanksgiving Day to me is special. As long as I'm feeling good and I'm alive, I'll be there.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to say, one thing I don't care about, though, is I don't care about the rest of the country having to sit through the Lions
I don't give a damn about that.
I don't care at all. Look, we sit through this crap each and every week.
Yes.
Okay? I'm 42 years old, soon to be 43. I sit through this stuff for over 40 years. You can sit through it one Thursday a year. Okay? Yeah. One Thursday.
It's our game.
Yeah.
And I know the people bitch about it. That's why you got the night game.
If you want to add games,
add
the games.
I don't care. Play a whole slate of games. Right. But we're 12:30 on Thanksgiving Day, and the Cowboys, they're second. They come too. You want to play a night game? Go ahead. I don't give a damn.
I don't even care if you want to have another 12:30 game. Just as long
No. That's our game. 12:30 is our game.
Yeah, and it has been that way for a long time, and deservingly so. You know, we have been at this thing for a long time. Us, the Packers.
This will be the 82nd game.
Exactly. Us, the Bears, Cowboys, been doing this for a long time. We've grandfathered ourselves in, and like you said, it's one game. It's one game. Like, even if you weren't a Lions fan, like if you're just, you know, California, Texas, whatever, you're just used to seeing the Lions on Thanksgiving. Whether they get the hell beat out of them or not, you're just used to seeing them on Thanksgiving. They belong there, and they're going to stay.
If you remember, the Texans did beat the hell out of us last
remember
year.
that? J.J. Watt had that blocked pass interception fumble.
And
touchdown.
2 years prior, the Bears were also in town, and our own David Blau got the start. He was 22 for 38. 280 yards.
See, I knew
2
I remember
touchdowns,
David
1
Blau.
interception, and he had that 75-yard touchdown pass to Kenny Galladay on the opening drive of the game.
Ooh,
so
wee.
I don't know about
guy?
you guys, but I want Blau starting on Thursday.
Give Boyle first a chance.
You know, one of the things too about Lions on Thanksgiving is the misconception that they always win on Thanksgiving. The Lions have lost 4 straight games on Thanksgiving and have a losing record. They are 37. What are they? 37-42, and there's a couple of ties in there somewhere.
Of course, there's ties.
Yeah, 37.
I was just about to say
37-42 and 2 ties.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't it?
And
though?
Bill Keenist joins us at 3:00. Lions historian. He's got a lot on this Thanksgiving Day Classic. I don't think they are, but I hope they wear the throwbacks with the silver helmet. But they won't. They'll probably wear their color rush grays.
It doesn't matter what they wear.
I mean, if you're going to lose, though, you might as well look at. This is a total sidebar.
Going back to the Green Bay game?
I hate the Lions uniforms. I think the Lions have to change their uniforms.
But you said you liked the all-white, though, when they played Green Bay.
No, I like the all-white.
Okay.
But I think they need to change their helmet and go with that blue mat or the white helmet with the blue lion. I think they really need to change up and almost look like a new team. They got to do something
I think
different.
they will change.
Kind of like
this is their year, by the way.
Yeah, this is their year, and that's why I say that. Kind of like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Yuccaneers, that creamsicle orange,
which I loved.
Well, they didn't win with that.
Did you love it then, or do you love it looking
No,
now?
I've always loved it.
So, okay.
I had a winter jacket that color with the Tampa Bay Buccaneer logo on it.
See, you coming from a mile
That's how much
away.
I loved it.
And I'm not saying, like, if they change their uniforms, that's not some hot take that they'll all of a sudden be good. But I almost want to just burn this Bubbles the Lion image out of my mind. Get them out of here. The blue shirts with the gray pants, so boring.
Yeah.
Ford Field's
But listen,
boring.
look
the
back-
Lions are boring.
Look back in the 70s. That's a gorgeous uniform.
The uniforms are boring.
No, they were beautiful with the silver and the blue. The silver, not the gray. The silver. They were the silver rush. The colors were different and more vibrant. Look at them. The numbers were outlined. They looked great. Look at Billy Sims in a Lions uniform and tell me that's an ugly uniform. It's not.
Well, the one they have now and the one they had 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they're all boring. Okay, this is a boring franchise. At least, seriously, at least entertain me. I just want to be entertained.
Hey, look, I need some new pullovers. Change the colors. I don't give a damn.
Look at that. Look at that logo. It's a boring
It's
logo.
a great logo.
It's a boring logo.
I love the logo.
Seriously.
Nah, I disagree with you. It's not boring. I like the logo.
Look at that leaping lion.
Yeah.
Do it, Maz. Do it. Do a leap.
Okay, now I don't like the logo anymore.
Yeah.
I no longer like the logo
With the
anymore.
tail up and so proud.
Just the whole thing is boring, okay?
In the words of Taylor Decker, I don't care what we do as long as we win. In the words of Taylor Decker.
The whole thing is boring. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hey gang, want to let you know about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. We don't need much as guys. We just want to watch football, have some sex once in a while, and then get a good haircut. and then watch the Lions, right? I mean, that's really all we want to do.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Maybe hang out with your buddies, watch a little football, come sit at the hair salon and
maybe watch our show.
That's it. Talk to the guys. You can come on in here, Woodward Sports 15 in Woodward, and come on in, watch the show as well. Absolutely, guys. Simple. Lady Jane's is this: you walk in the door, you sign your name, you sit down for a couple of minutes, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh, wee. How about that? Lady Jane's open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. All you got to do is find a location nearest you. They're all over the place. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome. Sitting here talking about how boring the Lions are and about these uniforms as well. I'm a uniform guy. Maz, you're a uniform guy.
Junkie.
You know, Braylon wore a couple of gorgeous uniforms.
You think the Browns uniform is good?
Well, the Jets uniform back in the day was a beautiful uniform. I love that Jets, and I love the San Francisco 49ers uniforms. You know who looks good as well? The Seattle Seahawks. That uniform looks good.
They're going to need a redo pretty soon.
And the Cleveland Browns uniform is a classic uniform with those old orange helmets and the brown shirts, the orange
Put the numbers on the helmets at
Hold
least.
on, how do you...
Put the numbers on the
helmets. How don't you like the
helmets.
Lions uniforms, but you have the audacity to like that ugly stuff in Cleveland?
Well,
that
it's
I
not
had to
ugly.
wear, by the
They're
way.
like freaking construction battles.
I think of like the old dog pound in the 90s or in the 80s,
Eric
something
Metcalf.
like that. A little Bernie Kosar action.
Eric Metcalf, little Webster Slaughter.
Oh, man. Some of those guys, that's nasty. That's football to me.
It's ugly.
Yeah, maybe it's ugly. But I'm telling you,
I wore it. It's
you
ugly.
know what? Okay.
You know how hard it is to make that uniform look good? I spent countless hours before games trying to figure out, all right, what socks do I wear with this ugly jersey? What shoes am I going to wear
Look
with
at
this
this.
ugly
Look
jersey?
at this guy.
Hey, that looks good right there.
You
though.
do look good.
That looks good right
Tell
there.
me that helmet isn't clean and classic. Look at that guy.
It is nice
That
looking.
guy is gorgeous.
I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm pointing at?
Me?
I'm telling the ref. I'm telling the ref. Watch, I'm about to cook.
You'd be like, sit your ass down.
Literally, that's what I'm actually saying. I'm like, hey, you number 35 for Grosse Pointe South.
Yeah,
just sit your buddy down. Yeah, the Seattle uniforms are great for me. Like, I think my year 2012, I think that was the second year that they had the brand new uniforms, the ones that still currently. And we took the lead by storm. Everybody loved those jerseys. I loved putting those jerseys on. It was different combinations. You had white jersey, gray pants. You had gray pants, blue jersey, white. We had a lot of different variations. The funniest thing is the Jets uniform, though, because obviously the Jets uniform is green and white. Also, Michigan State colors. I was so excited to get out of Cleveland that I forgot the Jets colors were green and white.
You didn't even care.
I didn't even care. Like, I wasn't paying attention.
Point.
I was just excited to get out. Look at that. Woo! I remember that game. That's actually Kansas City in the preseason. I think I scored a touchdown on this play.
Hey, do me a favor to anybody out there listening right now. If you come see us at the Tin Roof, and I hate to give them free publicity, but I'm going to give them free publicity right now. If you come see us at the Tin Roof, next door, Game Day Detroit. They have different variations of Lions helmets.
They do.
They have a chrome helmet. They have a blue helmet. They have a white helmet. It looks so great. These different. Get rid of the gray helmet. We look like a bunch of pansies out there, and maybe it's because we lose year in and year out. But honestly, the Detroit Lions have to go to the way of either the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and just completely redo the uniform. And this is the year to do that, by the way. They're
Tampa changed their colors.
Yeah, they changed their colors. I don't necessarily need to change the color, but they got to do something different. This boring silver helmet, gray helmet with the blue bubbles, the line, it's got to go.
Ryan doesn't like the stadium. He doesn't like the colors.
Well, I think
he
it's
doesn't
just
like the
bland.
logo.
Look,
he doesn't like the coach. He doesn't like the quarterback. Let's just give it all away.
Right.
Let's literally just pick
I told you, let's get an expansion team.
Let's pick up Ford Field. Let's pick up Ford Field and just like throw it somewhere and start over.
Oh, look at that! Look at that uniform.
Flight boys.
I know it sounds like I'm hating on the Lions, but I love them so much. I'm just so tired of them.
You want something
losing.
new?
I'm so tired of it. Like, we get our teeth kicked in every week, and even when we lose close, it's still a punch in the gut to the fans. Because it's another week that you wasted 4 hours on your Sunday rooting for this football team to win just one game. We're not even saying, let's try to win a game. And then try to win the next week. We just want to win a game.
Why don't we adopt
over the course of a 17-game season?
Let's adopt the old Houston Oilers colors. Want to do that?
Yes. I do want to do that.
Let's adopt them.
It'll never happen.
Change is good, though. It's nothing wrong with wanting new uniforms. Change is good. You look, typically, when you change uniforms for a franchise or organization, it gives you like a rebirth. It gives you energy. Remember when Denver changed their uniform and they had that great orange stripe?
Example.
And then what did they end up doing? Oh, guess what? They ended up winning 2 Super Bowls.
Great
after
example.
That. Remember the Falcons? They went from the old school Falcons. They went to the new school Falcons.
You want to know
and
what?
They had the best uniform.
I like the old ones
Seattle.
better.
Seattle got the new uniform.
Love
what happened?
Seattle's uniform.
4 years later, they went to the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay just changed it. They won a Super Bowl last year. I'm not correlating Super Bowls with uniform.
What about the Buffalo
but
Bills? They had those blue helmets. They went to the white helmet.
There you go.
And they got the red helmets back in the Super Bowl days.
Can we just have some variations? Look at 17.
The Patriots.
Look at that classic uniform.
The Patriots when with Tom Brady, they went from when Drew
the
Bledsoe was there
to the
Tom
USFL
Brady.
logo.
It was like it instantly went from like Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady. In terms of when the uniforms change, but it gives you energy. It's revamping. It's good for the fan base. It's good for marketing. It's good for the players. Like, look good, feel good, play good. Go out there and say, oh, man, you see these uniforms that we're going to wear this year?
Would a player go to a team just for the uniform?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If the money's the same?
Absolutely.
That's the college players.
Absolutely.
That's the college players. They want to look cool, right?
Absolutely.
That has become a marketing ploy. I mean, if you look at Michigan State, Mel Tucker now does the reveal of the uniform for the fan base. And I believe the players, Alex, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the players get to decide which uniform they want to wear every week. Is that true?
I can't confirm that, but
Michigan
they have made the jersey reveal like a hyped up thing every week now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I think it's part of it. And
no, but you're right about that. Like, legitimately, if you give me the same deal's on the table, and I mean, this is not going to be a fair comparison. Same deal is on the table. I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns, and I'm looking at Seattle Seahawks, and I'm looking at them uniforms. I'm like, I would much rather wear these uniforms in Seattle than those uniforms.
All right,
in
how
Cleveland.
about 2 in Ohio then? You get the pick between the Browns and the Bengals.
Bengals. It's not even close.
Same colors, but just different part of town.
It looks cooler.
Yeah. They used to have the same uniform.
They did.
Almost identical to the Browns. They had the orange and white with a little
Paul
brown.
Brown started the Bengals. Yeah.
But then they put the stripes on, and what did they do? They went to Super Bowl 16 that first year at the Silverdome.
There you
when
go.
they put the stripes on.
Chris Collinsworth.
Again, it's kind of like a little bit of an attitude as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an attitude. When you look at, and maybe it's not the case for a number of years, but when you look, when road teams used to come to Ann Arbor and they saw the helmets, they've lost the game.
Yeah.
They already lost the game. Conversely, when you see the Lions helmets, you know you've already won. Right? I mean, you've already won. So, I mean, you got to do something.
That used to be some of my favorite things. Like, that used to be one of my favorite things to do is when I was playing at Michigan is watch the away team players, especially when it was like the MAC schools or the smaller schools, or even some of
like
the teams that work. There you go, exactly.
Yeah.
I used to just watch those guys' faces when they would come down that tunnel and they would come out and they just look at the big house and you see this and then they see the helmets and you feel it. You can just look and be like, oh, man, we about to kick their ass today.
Right.
Like, you can feel it. And that feeling went away in 2017 when I went to that Minnesota game. In fact, when my brother got injured in that game. But I went to that game and I walked out there like Minnesota was walking on the field. They just didn't care that they were in the big house. It wasn't the big house. It was just another place to get the job done. And I was like, it's changed. You can feel it. And it's changed again because Michigan's back.
Well, our next guest, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Lions historian, one of the great people ever to work in the Detroit Lions organization, several decades employed by William Clay Ford and the Ford family. Bill Keenist is going to join us next. On this day in 1963, William Clay Ford bought the Detroit Lions. I'm going to ask Bill Keenist, the first question I'm going to ask him is about the uniforms.
He already knows.
How do you know?
We'll ask him about that and much more.
He's a USFL guy, too, an original.
Michigan Panthers.
Pittsburgh Maulers.
Oh, look at that. The Pittsburgh.
And they're back.
They are back. We'll talk to Bill Keenist. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Woodward Sports is giving you a chance to sit front row on Thanksgiving. All you have to do is survive our squid game. Nope, our turkey games. Listen every day to the Morning Woodward Show at 9 a.m. Big D Energy at noon. And the Bottom Line at 3 p.m. for your chance to qualify. The winner of turkey games will get tickets to the Thanksgiving Day Detroit game.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
Plus a turkey. So if you think you can master our turkey games challenges, watch, listen, and win. Make sure you're following at Woodward Sports on all social media or go to woodwardsports.com for additional chances to qualify. May the best turkey win.
Hour number 2 of the Ermanni and Edwards program, The Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network on a Monday. Tom Mazaway along as well. Pleasure to be joined now. Let's bring him in. A guy we all know very well, one of the great people to ever work in the Detroit Lions organization, Lions historian Bill Keenist. Bill, how you doing, my friend? Long time.
Long time, everybody there. It's great to be with you guys. I remember Braylon when he came, correct me if I'm wrong, for his visit to the Lions before the draft, and I met him in the lobby at Allen Park. I don't know, and we were talking about your dad because I had the good fortune of being with the team when your dad played. So, and Maz, what can you say about Maz? It's already been said, so I won't say anything about Maz.
Thanks, Billy.
Good to see you again, Bill. Good to see you. I do remember that.
Bill, I wanted to ask you first up. We were just having a conversation about the Lions uniforms. This is the year to change the Lions uniforms if they so choose. What are your thoughts on the Lions uniforms? Can we get maybe a white helmet or something?
Go back to the 70s.
Do you do something drastic like the Bucks or the Broncos or something crazy like that, or what do you think?
Well, a couple thoughts. And one thought I'll share, as I mentioned about Braylon before the draft, almost every year when we would draft these young men out of college, one of the first things that the media wanted to know, and quite frankly, what they wanted to know, is what number they would be wearing. So, there was some protocol that went along with that. But I would always say to these young men, listen, the number doesn't make the player makes the number. Okay, so you're in control of what that number means, and in many respects, it's the same with the uniform.
Yes,
it's really over the years, it's the player inside the uniform that creates that aura of the uniform. Now, I get it, honestly, I do. When you associate something with success, it's better. When you associate something with the lack of success, it's worse. But I'll tell you, you guys were talking about the Browns uniforms. There was such a strong connotation. My first year in the NFL was 1981 with Washington. And Washington, as you remember all those years, had the unique distinction with respect to their uniforms. They technically wore their jerseys in reverse.
Yeah, they wore the white at home and the red on the road, right?
The white at home and
the maroon
red on the road.
Yeah.
And so consequently, the Redskins uniforms back then became so firmly entrenched because I think the only team was Dallas. Dallas wore their white at home. They would wear their whites at home. And so whenever you saw Washington play, you saw them in the maroon jersey and the white or the white jersey and the maroon pants. But the one thing about Cleveland, and it was well known in the football circles, there were studies done over the years, I'm sure they're still done, you got to believe they're still done, that an all-white jersey makes the player look that much larger, right? Light colors create an illusion, a visual that has an impact on your mind. And so there was always, I remember getting inquiries from artists and sports psychologists and different people over the years. You got to change your jersey color. You got to go to a lighter color. You got to go to white.
Wow.
And, an example of that I will never forget, and you guys may remember, the Monday night game we played against the Raiders, the Barry Bo Jackson game.
Yes. Yeah, 89.
It was 1990, actually. 1990. And at that point, it was the highest scoring first quarter in Monday night history, 21-14. And Barry, that was after the game when Bo said, when I grow up, I want to be like Barry. Yeah, he did. He did in his post-game interview. But I was in the tunnel that game because we had ABC in, and we were getting the players out in time for the Monday Night Football anthem, and they played that. We played that on the scoreboard at the Silverdome, and the roof came off. It was just so exciting. But what I most remember is I was in the tunnel, and both teams came down the same tunnel, and the Raiders were introduced first, and they were in their all-white jerseys, and they were bigger than life. I mean, There was something. I was standing next to Howie Long, who I later worked with when he got into broadcasting, and he was like the largest man I'd ever seen in my life. And I think the uniform had something to do with that. There was a connotation there, almost the subliminal impact. But, the Lion jerseys, I think Maz mentioned the most popular version, if you will, of the jerseys came in the 90s when we introduced the pure throwbacks. Without the logo, the darker blue. I mean, people still love those things. And,
absolutely.
And there was a point when we played really well wearing those jerseys.
Without question. Talking to Bill Keenist, former Lions VP, and, of course, Detroit Lions historian. And with that, Bill, one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on today, amongst many reasons, but on this day in 1963, William Clay Ford bought the Detroit Lions. It happened to coincide the same day that President Kennedy was assassinated. Right. In your conversations with Mr. Ford, did that ever come up, like that day, or what he was thinking, or anything like that as you reflect back?
I can't say specifically that exact day came up in the events of that day. And I think it's kind of ironic when you introduced me, you mentioned that you were going to ask me about this day back in 1963. And that is such a historical day in our country, and I know I've talked to Mrs. Ford about it, and Mr. Ford was actually in the meeting where the board was voting on approval of his purchasing the team outright, and when he came out of the meeting is when, as I recall, Mrs. Ford informed him about the assassination of the president. So. And obviously in NFL annals, I mean, I'm now working for the NFL, so I see things from an NFL prism a little differently than I did when I was with the Lions. But Pete Rozelle made the decision to play that day. And, he has often, in the past looked back and said that was one of his big regrets. He wasn't sure how to carry on, how to proceed. And that came up a lot, and Braylon would remember this. You all would remember this. But in 9/11, we did not play that following weekend. And a lot of the reference during the decision went back to 63 with Pete Rozelle's decision to play after President's assassination.
Bill, obviously the Ford ownership of the Detroit Lions evokes an emotion amongst Detroit Lions fans. What would you say, as somebody who knew Mr. Ford for many, 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 many years, Mrs. Ford for many, 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 many years, what would you say to the Detroit Lions fans who haven't had the benefit of knowing them personally and knowing their will and their want to get this franchise to a Super Bowl caliber level? Many of us have not had that benefit to be around them. What would you say about the Fords to the Detroit Lion fan base?
Well, I certainly understand the reaction. I get it. And we've talked about this before, Ryan, and I'm sure I've probably talked about it with Maz. I'm not sure about Braylon, but the worst thing you can have in a fan base is apathy. Okay? Anger, frustration, disappointment, all that means you care. And we'll take that. Any team would take that any day. Apathy is the worst. And I remember back in the late 80s, actually before we hired Wayne Fonts and before we drafted Barry, I was worried back then. I had only been with the team a few years, but I was worried about it becoming apathetic. And so that's the worst thing. As long as the fans care, that's the most important thing. And I get it. We haven't won in Detroit. We haven't been to a Super Bowl. I had the good fortune of, if you will, perspective growing up in Pittsburgh. And when I was in middle school and high school, the Steelers were just starting to turn it around. The Rooney family And again, we're going back a ways. I get it, but the Rooney family hadn't won a thing, not even a division title, nothing for 40 years. Then they they signed Chuck Noll. And if I may divert a little, because in my new NFL job as a game rep, I had the Lions-Steelers game last week. So, and I was talking with the broadcasting crew as the game went on, and it appeared the Lions and Dan Campbell might get his first win, and it's against the Steelers. So what's the connection? Well, Chuck Noll's first year was 1969. Chuck Noll, do any of you know how many games he won that year?
4.
I'm asking.
No,
I don't know. I don't know.
Game.
One game.
Guess who it was against?
The Lions.
The Lions.
There you go.
Yeah. So it was.
That's beautiful.
It was the opening game.
Beautiful.
And it was played at Pitt Stadium. And what I remember, whether this is, legend or truth, I don't know. But what I remember, it was a close game. It was a one-score game. And the running back for the Steelers that scored the winning touchdown, and I think it was like a 13-6, 13-7, like I said, one-score game. He scored the winning touchdown, but he ran the wrong way. He didn't run the right play. And Chuck Noll supposedly fined him for it. But anyways, I just went back to that. But again, to the point, the Steelers hired Chuck Noll. Then they drafted Joe Green. Then they drafted Terry Bradshaw. And things just started happening. So I remember vividly the same things that have been said about the Ford family were said about the Rooneys. Now, that's a long time ago. A lot of time has sort of, come and gone. I just look at so many points in my history with the team where we were so close. I mean, go back to the early 90s with Barry and that team. I mean, Braylon can speak to this. All you guys can. We come off that 91 season, and we lose 2/5 of our offensive line, Mike Utley and Eric Andelsack, both guys who were on their way to Pro Bowl careers without question. Mike has the injury, and Eric Andelsack gets killed that following summer.
Hit by a car, right? Yeah.
Hit by a semi-truck.
Semi-truck.
Man.
While he was cutting his grass on a lawn tractor with headphones on. And not only do you have to replace those two starters, those two guys that you had penciled in for the next 10 years, but because you have to replace them, your resources aren't going somewhere else on the team. You're not replacing guys that you knew you had to replace. So it's a trickle-down effect. And then I also look at, and you guys are going to probably laugh at this, but I look at what happened after the 93 season. The last time last time we won the division, right? 93? So we play the Packers in that playoff game. It's a shootout.
Back to back.
Maz's favorite.
The Sterling Sharp game, right?
I was there. I was there.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, and I'm going to say this out front. Eric Kramer's one of my all-time favorites. All-time favorite. People, person, we still talk all the time. So he was a free agent. Eric started the last 4 games that year, got us into the playoffs. We went 3-1. Had great numbers during the playoff game. Had one ill-advised pass that George Teague returned 101 yards for a touchdown that we unfortunately have to refer to. But I believed, and I believe the team believed, that we could win with Eric. So he's a free agent. The first day of free agency, it comes out that he signs with the Bears. Yeah. First day. Apparently, and this is only what I understand, and it's been written and talked about, we basically offered him a minimum contract. So he was insulted. He was hurt by it. The Bears offered him 3 times as much as we did, something in that range. So who wouldn't take that deal? Now,
and that's part of the. I was going to say that's part of the frustration, Bill. So much with Lions fans. Hey, Bill, can you do one more segment with us? I got to get a break in. Can you? Okay, we're going to do one more segment with Bill.
We haven't even got to Scott Mitchell yet.
I know we haven't even gotten to Scott Mitchell.
I'm getting to that.
And I want to ask you about the Thanksgiving Day game as well. The history of the Thanksgiving Day game as well.
Leave us alone.
Bill Keenist sticks with us next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
And a miraculous catch. Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Hey guys, I want to let you know about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. They're located in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You need a car, they got some inventory. Absolutely. Head on over there if you want to buy a car. Also, on their pre-owned lot, any make, any model, it's there for you. They'll connect you with the car you want. And if you don't want to buy a car, maybe you want to sell them your car. Maybe you can get through the next couple of months with one less car in the family. Maybe somebody's working from home and you can use the extra cash. There's lots of equity in pre-owned cars right now, and it doesn't matter whether you own the car or lease the car. That's because Les Stanford is your authorized lease return center. That is right. All you got to do is look them up online, lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com, or call them today, 313-565-6000, 313-565-6000. Maybe you're Maz and you're coming up on your miles and you're just like, I got to get rid of this thing.
I got it.
You don't want to touch those miles. Give them a call, 313-565-6000. Les Stanford Chevrolet, find new roads. It's wicked awesome, that's right. Yeah. Let's bring him back. Bill Keenist, former Lions VP, and of course, Lions historian, one of the great people of all time in that organization. I stopped you mid-story as Eric Kramer was screwed. The Chicago Bears offered him 3 times as much money as the Detroit Lions. First day of free agency, he signs with the Bears. Can you pick up the story from there, Bill?
Well, yeah, here's probably a reason why we haven't won. I say we still. It's hard not to after 36 years.
No, it's always we.
It's always everybody. We. But if the team had kept Eric at whatever salary would have been appropriate for Eric, instead of having to go out and the whole world knew, all the free agent quarterbacks knew, that we were desperate. We had other parts of the team that were in pretty good shape. We obviously needed a quarterback. So we signed Scott Mitchell for, I think, the highest free agent contract ever at that time.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So I'm not, this isn't a commentary on Scott and what he did or didn't do with the Lions. But do you know that Eric Kramer goes to Chicago? And if you had a Bears media guide, or if you could look it up on ProFootballReference.com, guess who still holds the Bears' all-time single-season passing records?
Rex Grossman.
It's
Eric Kramer.
Eric Kramer.
Funny.
Wow.
He didn't have the threat of Barry Sanders for that play action. He didn't have Herman Moore. He didn't have Johnny Morton. He didn't have Brett Perryman. He didn't have Braylon Edwards. Okay.
Ah, you're too kind.
There you go. But he still, and Dave Wanstead and the Bears felt enough about him. So the point is, if we had kept Eric, we used that extra money we had to pay for Scott, maybe we could have got some other players, because you're so close. You're just, a player or two away. And it was never about money for Mr. Ford. He was loyal. He put people in charge to do the job. And, based on where we sit now, it hasn't gotten done to the way all of us would have hoped it would have. And then finally, I would say this. One of the best teams, the early 90s was a great collection of talent and players. But go back to 2014, Jim Caldwell's first year. And I love Jim Caldwell. Let me say that right off the top. Just phenomenal. We have our second best regular season in team history in 2014. We go to Dallas. We all know what happened in that game. Now, here's how close I believe we were. We lose a game in Dallas because of the call that should not have been made. The flag should not have been picked up. Okay, you always play these mind games in our business. So Dallas wins that game, goes to Green Bay. What happened in that game? The Des Bryant play.
Yep.
He makes that catch right on the goal line. Everybody thought it was a catch. It's no catch. If that catch had stood, Dallas wins that game. Green Bay then goes to Seattle, is winning by 16 points in the fourth quarter. They score a touchdown onside kick that the Packer tight end at the time hits him right in the hands, bounces off. The Seahawks recover. Seattle wins in overtime. What happened in the Super Bowl? Marshall.
Was that the
handoff that never
worked? Or the 1 yard line.
All those games, went right down to the wire. So I think we could have won that year. And I don't think it's been given enough attention. But why didn't we win? I believe that the worst thing that happened was letting Ndamukong Suh go.
Oh, no doubt.
It was this. Because and Braylon knows this, there's a trickle-down effect on players in the locker room, on positions on the field, and we had to try to go and replace them. We signed Haloti Ngata, who was a phenomenal player, a Football Hall of Fame potentially player, but he was on the downside of his career. But not re-signing Suh, I think, really impacted the team. We had the terrible start, and then all the changes were made midway through the season. But I think you can look at points here and there. Go back to the 1970 team. NFL historians will tell you they think the Lions were the best team in the league that year. Yeah, that
was a bad Super Bowl.
That
was a bad Super Bowl.
The Tom Dempsey year too, the field goal. So the most important thing, obviously, that the fans are passionate, and when you lose the passion, I've always said, we'll take anger over apathy anytime.
Right.
And so that's sort of where we are.
No, you're 100% right about Eric Kramer and Ndamukong Suh. A lot of times, front offices try to outthink themselves. A lot of times, front offices, they try to outsmart themselves, and they try to say they don't need certain players. They're like, oh, you know what? This works because of this. We can get rid of this piece, or we can let this piece go. And then you realize how much you needed that piece. You realize how much you needed Eric Kramer or Ndamukong Suh. We did the same thing with the Jets, Mike Tannenbaum. We went to 2 AFC championships back to back, and Tannenbaum disbanded the team. He just got rid of everybody, and the Jets haven't been to the playoff since 2010. But you know what? Thanksgiving's coming up. Let's talk about Thanksgiving and memories. Lions, Thanksgiving. It's always synonymous with the uniforms that we were talking about with Barry Sanders. When I think about those old uniforms, they have success because of Barry Sanders. But Turkey Day is coming up. What do you think? Tell me about some memories.
Oh, I have so many, guys. I don't know where to start. Where I'm going to start.
Start with John Madden. Start with John Madden.
Hey, Bill, the best two games, Bill, were the Bills and the Vikings Thanksgiving games. That Viking game was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. Went down to the last play.
Yep.
Herman is in the end zone defending the Hail Mary from Warren Moon. But I'm going to start with 1988. When Wayne Fontes was named the interim coach with 5 games left. So he is named the week before Thanksgiving. Okay, we have a game in Green Bay. Actually, it was in Milwaukee against the Packers. And so Wayne changed some of the protocol that the team was used to. And you guys may or may not remember, but back then, the players would all drive to the airport. And all the guys lived in northern Oakland County by the Silverdome. But the players would drive on their own to the airport, and we got on our charter at an off-site, area down there, not through the main terminal. But Wayne changed that, and the whole concept was we're a team. It's a business trip. Let's start it together. Let's end it together. So we took buses to the airport. And again, this is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So Saturday, we're taking the buses down, and if I mention the name to you, the Brow.
Oh, yeah.
How big are your smiles, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
The super fan, okay? So the Brow, up to that point, every road trip, he was standing at the gate that the players would walk through to get to the plane down at Metro. The players would park their cars right there and then walk right onto the tarmac. Well, this week, we're taking buses, and we blow right past the Brow. Okay? So he's standing there, and the Brow always had an interesting look about him, right? The way he dressed and the whole thing. And the best way I could describe him, it was like if any of you ever woke up too early on Christmas and the presents weren't yet under the tree, and it was like, oh my, and he looked so sad. So we get over to the plane, and I say something to Wayne. I says, Wayne, we got to go to the Brow, get the Brow. We can't just, ignore him. I mean, he was there every week. He was there when we came back from the games. So we go get the Brow and bring him up onto the plane. And the players love it because everybody knew of the Brow at that point. Everybody knew the Brow. So we get him on the plane, and I don't know if somebody suggested it or what. And he was probably pushing 70 at the time. He was up there in years. And he gets on the plane, and he's all disheveled with his, tie askew and his sport coat. And he had his ketchup bottle and his mustard bottle for his cheers and everything, and the homemade signs. And so he's going to give the team a cheer, as we're leaving to get to Milwaukee for Wayne's first game. So he hollered. And now let me just, if you can visualize this, he's in the aisle in the middle of all the players, and he starts this cheer. Strawberry shortcake, gooseberry pie, VICTOR. And right before he said why, which he screamed, he says, why? In his false teeth fly out down the middle of the aisle.
Oh, man.
And the players lost it. I mean, they lost it. Oh, my
God.
Yeah. So I got the Brow, and we're looking for him, the teeth, that is, and we're down, and they're under one of the players' seats, and we find it, and we're kneeling down there, and before we got up, he grabs my arm, he goes, Billy, when they think you're crazy, you could get away with anything.
Oh, my God.
So, but that was the Sunday before Wayne's first game, a week before Thanksgiving. And so as far as Thanksgiving memories, one that I think you'll get a kick out of. And Braylon, I don't know if they still do this or did this, but there was always a free turkey deal with the rookies. Did you have that happen to you, Braylon?
Free turkey in terms of I had to provide the turkey?
No. Back in the 80s, even when I was in Washington, my first year with Washington, the team, the players, all the leaders of the team, the veterans would say, okay, they'd hand you a certificate. Here's a free turkey. You don't have to worry about going to buy one, blah, 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 blah. So you'd get this. It was a scam. It was just to fool the rookies, right? So 1985.
I don't recall anything like this.
Okay, yeah, I think after a while people caught on to it, obviously.
Apparently.
So my first year with the Lions, 85, and I was fully aware of it by that time. Well, Darryl, on his staff were a lot of college coaches who had never coached in the NFL before. And so the veterans, being the savvy ones that they were, they made sure every college coach prior to being with the Lions got one of these free turkey certificates. And there was a supermarket down from the Silverdome, the Hollywood Market, about a mile away. And that they had worked this out with the Hollywood Market to do this trick, this stunt on the unsuspecting rookies, and in this case, a couple coaches. So this coach goes to the market, turns over his coupon, give him this big, it was wrapped in freezer paper. So it looked and felt like turkey. So he takes it home, tells his wife prior to that, hey, I got the turkey, no need to cook, blah, blah, blah. So it's the day before Thanksgiving, Wednesday. They sit it on the counter to defrost, right? You want it to be able to be cooked. They go out, they leave the house. By the time they get back, it was just a block of ice. That's what they put in those papers. So there's water all over the place. The paper's soaking wet, laying on the counter. He thinks that the supermarket tricked him. He goes flying back to the supermarket, screaming, you were supposed to give me a turkey. You gave me a block of ice. And the had to be calm, everybody to calm down. And then, believe me, the next team meeting, he became the turkey. So it's stories like that.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
There's a million of them.
Yeah,
Hey,
and I got
wasn't
one more if
expecting
we
that
got
one.
time.
We got 90 seconds. before I got to get to a break at that bottom of the hour.
Go to the break then, because to do it justice.
How about we have you on again, Bill? Because we got to get to some college football next. We got 20 minutes of our show left, so I want to get to some college football. Is that okay?
I didn't get the USFL questions in yet.
I know.
Well, so a perfect excuse to have you back, Bill. We'll do it next week.
Okay,
Deal?
Great.
We'll do it next week.
Deal.
Bill Keenist.
Wait, last question.
Okay.
There's a jinx on this team, isn't there, Bill?
You got to wonder sometimes. I mean, what
it's
happened,
official. It's official. I told you.
What happened against Baltimore and even Minnesota to a lesser extent, but I mean, what happened against Baltimore? I mean, I remember standing on the sideline at the end of the Packer game in 15 when we won the game. Okay, and then there's a flag, and it's face mask. Well, it wasn't a face mask.
Yep.
Devin Taylor just touched it, and then Aaron Rodgers does Aaron Rodgers
to Richard Rodgers.
Unbelievable.
You got to be kidding me. Crazy.
Bill Keenist, we're gonna do this again next week, okay, bud? All right,
Bill, appreciate you, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, guys. We got to get to a break. Bottom line, Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
It took exploring 50 different formulas, hosting countless taste tests to find the formula, but guess what? Mike and Adam found the winning formula with Gypsy Vodka. Check this out. Gluten-free, corn distilled 6 times, as well as infused with artisanal spring water. Man, this stuff sounds good.
Artesian spring water?
Artesian spring water.
Oh, my goodness.
And corn distilled. Not once, not twice, 6 times.
Whoa!
But look at the bottle. Look at the artwork in the bottle.
It's gorgeous.
You gotta love the artwork in the bottle, man. It's a nice bottle right there. If you guys are looking and watching at home or wherever you guys are, beautiful bottle right there. Go try some. Gluten-free Gypsy Vodka. But remember, if you're drinking, drink responsibly.
Guys, I did want to get to some college football if I could.
College?
And we'll save the bulk of our discussion.
Is there a game or something
for tomorrow? But yes, I do want to talk about the game and where you think
the Giants Buccaneers.
If you look at the AP poll that came out yesterday, I don't even know why I even care about this one anymore.
I knew this was going to get you.
Georgia's won. Ohio State actually jumped Alabama to the 2 spot.
Good.
Alabama at 3. Cincinnati is 4. Notre Dame 5. Michigan 6. Oklahoma State is 7. Is there a team? I mean, Oklahoma State's defense might, I don't want to say rival Georgia, but they're clearly the second best defense in this league. I wouldn't want any part of Oklahoma.
Cowboys are good. That's why that's why I asked that question last week. I'm talking about Oklahoma State and talking about Notre Dame. Oklahoma State's defense is good.
Do you think Michigan in the college football playoff will jump Cincinnati?
Yes.
Because Oregon lost. I think they will have Michigan at 4.
They will, and they're just buying the time. You're talking about tomorrow.
College football playoff tomorrow.
No.
You don't think so?
No,
because they're going to put Cincinnati at 4?
Yeah. The reason why is because, one, Cincinnati deserves to be 4 based off the system, based off what we watched all year long. They still have a big win against Notre Dame. Notre Dame snuck up in the rankings of having one loss, being it to them. But they don't have to put Michigan ahead of Cincinnati because it's going to take care of itself. Why put Michigan above Cincinnati when Michigan has to play Ohio State this coming weekend?
I will answer that question. Here's why. Just in case you think the Big 12 champion deserves a spot in the national title playoff picture. Because if you have Cincy at 4 and they take care of their business, what leads you to believe that they should be taken out of there?
Yeah.
If you put them in that top 4, it's going to be real hard to take them out. So that would be the question. If you put Michigan at 4, you can have Ohio State, Michigan, that winner stay at 3 or whatever. And then you can then decide who belongs in that number four spot, right. Either the Big 12 champion or Notre Dame or Cincinnati.
Well, they clearly show you that they don't respect the Big 12.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was undefeated all year, and Oklahoma was 8. And then stayed 8, and then was 8 again, and then finally they lost, and so now they've dropped out of it. They don't respect the Big 12. Like, even if Oklahoma State handles business, they beat Oklahoma, they win the Big 12 championship, I still don't see them putting them at 4. I just don't see it. There's no respect for the Big 12 by the committee. You've seen that week in and week out now for 3 weeks, and nothing's going to change.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you on that. There is no respect for the Big 12, but there also has been kind of a lack of respect for Cincinnati as well.
Yeah, true.
So it's like, where does the committee go from here? And Maz, I'll ask you the same question I asked Braylon. If you put Cincinnati at 4 and they take care of their business, how do you take them out if you don't want them in?
Easy, because if Michigan has to beat Ohio State.
Okay, so that eats.
That's it.
Right. No.
But that's only one spot.
That's one spot.
Yeah.
So Michigan, Ohio State, winner of that game becomes number 3. So who gets 4? I'm saying Cincy's in.
Yeah, they earned it.
You think it's their spot now regardless.
They're unbeaten. They earned it. They still got to win one more game,
over
right?
a one-loss Oklahoma or over a one-loss Oklahoma State.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but think about how it played out already. Even when Oklahoma was undefeated, they had them 8. They already had Cincy at 5. At 6. They already had Cincy ranked ahead of Oklahoma when Oklahoma was undefeated.
Right.
And now you're looking at a team that has a loss in Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So I think they've pretty much let you know how they feel about the Big 12.
They took care of SMU. They're out of the 25 now, right?
Yeah.
They squashed them. Utah's a pretty darn good team.
And they got they got to play Houston in conference championship. So that'd be a huge. Houston's only has one loss. You watch them play.
They're 19.
No, they're 19.
They're 19.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
They're a good team. That's going to be a good match. So that actually helps Cincinnati. Moving forward. That kind of like.
What do the Spartans have to do now to get on to New Year's Day? If they beat Penn State, are they playing on New Year's Day?
Could.
Yeah, I mean
they could. 'Cause I think Michigan probably
are they Citrus Bowl bound or something like that?
I don't know. I mean, so they dropped to 12th there. I don't know. I mean,
what do you think of them right now after that game?
They can get back into the top 10, right? I mean, because the Big 12 is going to take care of themselves, right? Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Baylor. 1 or 2 of those teams will have a loss.
That Wisconsin-Nebraska game was a hell of a game.
Wisconsin,
hell of a
man.
game.
I'll tell you.
Caught fire late. Seven wins in a row.
Whoever wins the Big Ten East will not have a cupcake in the Big Ten championship game. I think that is something that is
no one's talking about.
Nobody is talking about. What happens to the Big Ten if Wisconsin wins the Big Ten championship?
Oh my!
That is something that nobody is talking about. Because
you really think they could beat Ohio State?
Come on. Look, I think Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. I was going to save it for tomorrow, but I do think Michigan's going to beat Ohio State.
Okay.
And you
Why?
Would you like me to take that?
Yes, I would, but I'd like you to do it 30 seconds from now. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network? Bottom line.
Boom. First.com. Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. One mortgage myth we hear all the time is having to choose between a 15 or a 30-year fixed term. At Hall Financial, we offer the modern mortgage to create a flexible term that fits your unique financial situation. Our team of mortgage experts are available 7 days a week to review your goals and customize a solution for you. Get started today with a free 5-minute mortgage review at 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Hey, it's Maz for the Folding Warehouse and our good friends Noni and Chris Hutt. They're your hosts in Hamtramck. Go see them. Tell them Maz sent you. It is fun. What's folding? It's easy. It's bowling, except you do it with a football. You get to throw the football at the bowling pins. Knock down as many as you can, and then if you knock them all down, your friend has got to set them up again. That's the best part. You could bring a corporate party there. All your friends and family have a holiday party there like we're going to have next week. 2 ways to play, $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation, $120 for 10 people for 2 hours. They got over 100 beers, including the $2 mystery beer machine. They've got a full multiple bar, several of them. You bring the food, or you can have it delivered as well. It's up to you. It's the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. Come get your fold on. Check them out at foldingwarehouse.com.
So, Braylon Edwards, Maz asked the question, what makes you believe Michigan is going to beat Ohio State? I almost said Michigan State. Ohio State. And you wanted to pick up on that, so we'll ask you.
Just a little bit, a nice little preview before we really get started tomorrow and Wednesday. The big thing is, I've been saying this all year, man. I talked about the difference between Michigan and Michigan State was the defensive line, the pressure that they got. You talk about Ojabo, you talk about Aiden Hutchinson, you talk about Josh Ross at linebacker. You talk about the secondary of Michigan. It's been playing a lot better this year. You saw Turner with the pick 6 last week against Maryland. You see what Daxton Hill has been doing, progressively getting better each week. The big thing that we talked about before Michigan State played Ohio State was they had to get pressure on C.J. Stroud. Like, for as good as C.J. Stroud is playing, and he looked like a 10-year senior, the way in which he played.
He missed 3 passes. 1 was a throwaway.
32 of 35, Braylon.
Unreal. 1 was a throwaway.
When you put a 5-star player who has confidence in a situation where he's not under pressure, he's not under stress, he can sit back there, he can write an email, he can type a text, he can call his girlfriend, he can call his side chick, he can do whatever. He can do all these things because he has that much time. The offensive line has gotten better for Ohio State. Michigan State could not get off the block. So they allowed him that time to just sit there and pick them apart. And they have the best wide receiver core in the country. And Michigan State doesn't have a good secondary. We know this to be true. They actually last in the country in the FBS.
It's fact.
It legitimately was the strength of the best offense in the country versus the weakness of the worst secondary in the country and a bad defensive line in the past 4 or 5 weeks. Michigan has a better secondary, and Michigan has guys that can get to the quarterback. Ojabo and Aiden Hutchinson are going to both go in the top 10 in this draft. They are leading the Big Ten in sacks. Both of them have 10 apiece, and they haven't played a lot of fourth quarters. So they easily could be sitting at 14 sacks, as you said a couple weeks ago. They're going to get pressure on C.J. Stroud. He's as well as he's played. 32 out of 35, 442 yards, 5 touchdowns, and this is all in the first half, mind you. He's still 19 years old.
All right, listen to this. They scored 56. We all know they could have scored 100. So Michigan puts pressure on them. How many are they going to score?
You got to.
Well, it depends. It depends on what they do, because obviously they have Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson as well in the backfield, so they can run.
Yeah.
But he hasn't seen a pressure. He hasn't been hit. He hasn't been sacked. He hasn't had to run for his life. It changes the way you think. It changes your throws. Your throws are a little off kilter when you're being chased. Your mind and your process, you can't easily go through your reads. You can't sit back there and, oh, well, here's Olave. I don't want to throw it to Olave. I'm going to throw it to Wilson this time. You can't do that when you got those 2 world beaters coming at you. When they're in your face every play. Now you're thinking about that. Now that changes the complexity. They're still a great team on offense. And they're getting a lot better on defense. They fired the defensive coordinator after the Oregon game, and you've seen how they've played.
That takes guts, by the way. In season,
what that takes is
you suck, you're out of here.
Well, Urban did the same thing. He fired a guy right after the national championship, whatever.
Well, that's why they win.
It's Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, now Ryan Day. They make the hard decisions.
Yeah.
They make the tough decisions.
Michigan's got to score 38 points to win the game. I
don't think 38 does it.
If you can hold them to a touchdown a quarter, that's 28, and then you give them one more. Like 1 touchdown a quarter. That's what you should almost be playing to get to 38, or because they're gonna score.
Yeah.
Right? They're gonna score points. You're not gonna hold them to under 20. You're not gonna hold them to under 30.
Yeah,
bro, they got 3 NFL receivers,
and that is why you cannot allow them to run down the field. You've got to pressure the quarterback. You've got to get to the quarterback, and that is something that they can do. You saw what C.J. Stroud can do against teams like Purdue and against teams like Michigan State when they have nobody to get there.
Right.
Nobody can get home. And here's why I think Michigan
I got something else for you too.
is going to win.
Spread's 8, by the way.
And that's fine. That's giving respect to Michigan.
It was 21 by game time at the Michigan State game.
That's giving Michigan a lot of credit.
And a half.
And again, maybe this is both in my mind and in my heart, but they're going to beat Ohio State at some point, okay? They're going to beat them. If you cannot do it at home with a first-year quarterback, when you have 2 top 10 NFL draft caliber defensive ends to collapse that pocket and get to the quarterback, I don't know when you're going to do it.
The other side of it that people aren't talking about, we've talked about the defense, that's Michigan's strong suit, but on the flip side, on the offense, you have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over. You got a quarterback in Cade McNamara that manages the game perfectly. He doesn't turn the ball over. He manages the ball well. And now, towards the end of the season, which I love, and this is something that's going to be great, I'm excited for the game, they have continuously uncovered players. Like, look at Donovan Edwards this past weekend. Now you have Blake Corum with Hassan Haskins, with Donovan Edwards. Donovan Edwards could be the best receiving running back in the country.
It's unbelievable.
Like, he looked like a receiver, like out of the backfield.
I had to double check and said, I thought Ryan told me he was a running back.
He looked amazing. And then you look at, they're now hitting Schoonmaker, the tight end. They have all the tight ends making some plays. You saw the game winner against Penn State. Schoonmaker's made some plays. He's scored some touchdowns over the past couple of weeks. You look at the receivers, Andrew Anthony, you see the game that he had against Michigan State. Brown, we talked about Edwards, Dylan, like Sanister. Like, they are continuously finding players late in the season. They are continuously letting us know that they have more in store. They have something for us. That's what also gives me hope. Because of the offense.
What gives me hope as well, if you look at it, the last road game Ohio State played was on the road at Nebraska, where they scored 26 points.
Yep.
So how did Nebraska hold C.J. Stroud and Chris Olave and all these guys, Smithing, Jigba?
Something about Nebraska, O-State, Michigan State, and Michigan when they played them, because they played us great too.
Again, I'm saying Nebraska held Ohio State on the road, their last road game, to 26 points. They turned C.J. Stroud over twice. Michigan has got to create at least 2 turnovers as well. And I think, if you can get a sack fumble in one, if you can get a pick in another, that's what it's going to take to beat these guys, right? I mean, you're not gonna outscore them. You're going to have to turn them over. You're going to have to sack them. You're going to have to hopefully make sure they don't score every possession that they have the football. And to keep everything in front of you, too.
Also, the key is adversity. Like, we haven't watched Ohio State play with any adversity. They've blown everybody out with the exception of
26-17.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
With the exception of the Nebraska game. Oh, and Penn State.
Yeah.
Penn State, they didn't blow them out. But outside of that, like, you got to make them confused. You got to frustrate them. You have to get to the quarterback, Ajabo and Aiden Hutchinson. They got to get quarterback. They got to get pressure on the quarterback. They have to cause him to throw some balls high, throw some balls in the ground, throw some balls just a little bit outside, in the words of Bob Barker. That's how you create the just a little bit outside. No, but that's how it starts. It's confusion. Now receivers are getting mad because they can't get into a rhythm. They can't get into the game. That's how you frustrate good teams. That's how you frustrate good offense, is you get after them up front. And then you win the line of scrimmage, because they're going to run the ball with Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson. Win the line of scrimmage. Push them backwards, offense and defense. On offense, the big guys, the big uglies as they're called up front, the offensive linemen, do what you've been doing all year. You're pushing guys backwards. Like, when you watch Hassan Haskins run, or you watch Blake Corum run, or you watch Donovan Edwards, like, they have plenty of room to run before they get hit. They're not getting hit in the backfield. That's because that offensive line is kicking butt and moving guys forward.
Got to take a break. You did mention Blake Corum. I think it's worth mentioning. If you did not see the story by Angelique Shingalis, please go read it in the Detroit News. Blake Corum used his NIL money to buy turkeys for the less fortunate in Ypsilanti. You don't see those stories enough, and wanted to highlight that here on our program as well. A remarkable young man doing remarkable things. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. I'm defeated.
No, you are not.
I'm defeated.
Oh, yes, you are defeated.
There you go.
Defeated. Gobble, gobble. Yes.
There we go.
We'll be right back.
I got it in there.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, we all know that a good defense beats a good offense all the time, right? I mean, if offense wins games, defense wins championships. Don't you want to be that championship defender of your home? Don't you want to stick that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? You know what that sign says?
Hawkeyes.
Stay out. That's what it says. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. They've been at it for over 90 years, and they have state-of-the-art technology that help you feel safe, 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control your lights, your temperatures, detect smoke, carbon monoxide. It's even going to let you lock and unlock your doors. All you have to do to be the hero, to be the champion of your home is this. You call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out here. Get out of here.
Get out.
Scat.
Stay out. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Stay out. Stay out of here. Tom Mazaway, it is with great pleasure that I swing it over to you for the bottom line videos of the day. It's already that time.
I can't believe it. That
you
was
can't
so
believe
fun.
it. I can't believe it. I've been up for 14 hours.
You are fill in the blank. G blank 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 blank.
Gassed.
I want to thank Bill Keenist, by the way, for those stories. I just felt like I could be tucked in my bed and listen to those stories and just dream of what could have been for our Detroit Lions. Oh,
hey, why don't you call him before you go to bed?
I might have him on Wednesday before Thanksgiving again. He still wants to tell us that story. We must have him back.
Next week.
Fish.
Silence. There we go. Okay, cool.
Fish, shut your mic off.
Come on,
Congrats to Lions Rumble 81, by the way. He is our last qualifier for the Turkey Games. We pull the winner tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
We'll do it here, right here. On Bottom Line.
Look at
that.
The winner will get to go to Lions and Bears on Thanksgiving Day. Front row tickets. You got to come see us at the Tin Roof first. But let me start you off. 30 years ago today, actually it was yesterday, it was Cal, it was Stanford, it was the band.
Oh, man.
It was the play.
Man. You believe it?
No.
Harmon will probably try to squib it, and he does. Ball comes loose, and the Bears have to get out of bounds. Rodgers along the sideline, another one. They're still in deep trouble at midfield. They tried to do a couple of... The ball is still loose as they get it to Rodgers. They give it back now to the 30. They're down to the 20. Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's got it into the end. The Bears have won. The Bears have won.
Oh, my.
Oh, my God. The most amazing,
that's great.
Sensational, dramatic,
Two things.
heart-rending.
Thing one. It's so amazing that they called this a touchdown 30 years ago.
I know.
Like, see, this is something now you would see, like instant replay. They can look, they can see, okay, the guy's, he got the pitch off. It was behind. It was legal. Like, 30 years ago, they got that call right. That's nuts. And the second thing, I never realized it was only a 50-yard return.
Isn't that something? Because the kick didn't go far.
It's only a 50-yard return. But this whole time, I thought it was like 100-yard, like back and forth and throwing in lateral. Man, it was like a 40.
How about when the guy jumps and just knocks that...
the band, the guy in the band.
The tuba player. She was done.
I know you guys remember this. We go back to 1997. Cue up Keith Jackson, please.
But he gets it out all right. Oh, my goodness, look at this.
Look it up.
I was at this game. I'm sitting 25.
Woodson's got one block.
Oh, look at the block
I was
Tommy
there.
Hendricks.
Freshman year, baby.
Diallo Johnson. Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Oh, my.
Kevin Bryant.
Oh, goose pimples.
Oh, my. How do you not?
Yeah, I mean, seriously,
How do you not?
I mean, it's standing up on the back of my neck.
Jeez.
When you talk about Charles Woodson, there are players that are good at their position. There are good quarterbacks. There are good receivers. There are good linemen. And there are just great football players. Charles Woodson is a great football player. He could play quarterback, running back. He actually was running back in high school at Fremont High School, but wide receiver, return punts, return kicks, get interceptions. He's a great football player.
How about this, fellas?
Was a great football player.
Well, he's still.
Yeah,
Hall of
he
Famer,
probably can still
man.
play right now.
Hall of Fame. Probably could start.
Yeah,
for the Lions.
Absolutely.
For the
You beat
Lions,
me
for
to
sure.
it.
Hey, 9 years ago, on a Thanksgiving evening. It was the first Thanksgiving night game, as a matter of fact. It's the Jets and the Patriots.
Oh!
It's the Sanchez.
The butt fumble.
It's the butt fumble.
I wasn't out there.
Well, years ago, we talked to Tom Moore, then in Indianapolis, the offensive coordinator. We got a busted.
The butt fumble.
And Sanchez gets hit. The ball
so
is
great.
loose, and it's alive. And then going into the end zone is Steve Gregory, who's had an interception.
Steve Gregory.
This is what Reggie White used to do to people.
That is a product.
Lift them off the ground.
Brandon
That
Moore.
was the end of Sanchez.
Expecting it, and
right?
It was the backside of Brandon Moore.
End of Sanchez, or end of Sanchez when Matt Tannenbaum disbanded the team. That's what I was talking to Bill Keenist about, man.
Yep.
It's just one of those situations where it's like, how do you do that? You legitimately got rid of everybody. They got rid of Brad Smith, who was our X-Man, played all positions, kick returner. They got rid of me. They got rid of Braylon.
Who would get rid of you?
Sean Ellis was our leader on defense. You got rid of Jason Taylor, I think retired that year. Jericho Contry. Jericho left. I think he went to play for the Steelers, who inadvertently beat us in the AFC Championship. Like everybody, he just got rid of everybody. And they have not been to the playoffs since. This is 11 years now.
He shouldn't be allowed on TV.
I don't think so either.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. He's an interesting guy.
Crazy.
My last one of the day, I got go back to 25 years ago. It's the Seinfeld. It's the great George Costanza teaching Jeter and Bernie how to hit. Burn, baby, burn.
Hitting is not about muscle. It's simple physics. Calculate the velocity v in relation to the trajectory t, in which g, gravity, of course, remains a constant. It's not complicated.
Now, who are you again?
George Costanza, assistant to the traveling secretary.
You're the guy who put us in that Ramada in Milwaukee.
You want to talk about hotels? Or you want to win some ball games?
Hey, we won the World Series.
In 6 games.
No better character in a TV sitcom than the great George
Assistant
Costanza.
to the traveling secretary.
Jason Alexander.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Mr. Wilhelm.
He was great in Shallow Hal. He was
my God.
He was great in Shallow
I love
Hal.
that movie.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
That is a great
Jack
movie.
Black was phenomenal in that movie.
What are we doing with these chairs? You gotta get some chairs and sit. These chairs are broken.
Oh my God, Maz loves it. Maz loves it.
What a great day, guys.
I'm telling you, and we're just getting started here. It's going to be a fun week around here. Lots of college football tomorrow. Maz, gear up, baby.
I will. I got you, man. The wheels are already in motion.
Oh, yeah, baby. It's all good.
We got
Braylon
Stan in the house tomorrow.
Stan in the house tomorrow. We are both going to be in Ann Arbor this week. I'll be going to the game. Braylon's going to the game.
Right. But before that, we got our Thanksgiving Day show as well.
Thanksgiving Day show on Thursday.
Tin
That's
Roof,
right. We'll be down there as
10:30.
well. I'm telling you, it's a fun, busy week around here, and hopefully everybody's having a great time.
And tomorrow we'll pull our winner for those front row tickets for Thanksgiving Day.
Braylon, bring us home.
Oh man, another good day in the books. Monday got to start off with a bang. I'm excited. We'll talk more college football tomorrow. We'll talk about Michigan's chances to beat Ohio State or Ohio State's chances to whoop up on Michigan. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Michigan basketball. They're struggling right now. 3-3, not looking good for a guy that just signed an extension and is ranked 4th in the country. So we'll talk tomorrow about Juwan Howard and Michigan. Outside of that, I'm excited, man. Monday Night Football, we got the Mannings back. Make sure you tune into that. We got Saquon Barkley.
Saquon and Gronk.
And Gronk.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
And Gronk is back. Who you taking, Maz?
Go G-Men. Cover that spread.
Woo! He's going with the Giants. Who you got, Brian?
He don't pick.
Hard to bet.
He doesn't pick.
I don't
He don't
Alex,
bet.
who you got?
I'd say favorite.
Buccaneers.
Who you got, Fish?
Bucks.
Buccaneers.
You guys saying Bucks are getting back
They
on
lost
track?
two
in a row.
Yeah, off the bye.
2 in a row.
Giants are probably cooked.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to get
We've seen
whooped.
teams be slow off the bye, though.
Yeah, not a Tampa Bay team that's coming off 2 losses in a row.
Not the Texans.
They don't have a choice. But hey, fellas, I'm Edwards. He's Ermanni. This is Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line.
And then we saw Zach LaVine light him up, then Giannis, and then Jason Tatum. And tonight it's their number 1 guy, Jeremy Grant. Stewart and LeBron. Stewart is hot. And everybody's coming out now.
Now, this is ridiculous. Yeah, he must have caught an elbow or something, but...
Oh, yeah, he's got a lot of blood streaming from the side of the eye. Look, here goes Stewart.
Yeah, I think he's a little upset.
You've got coaches, you got security guys. Look at Dwayne Casey's like just...